tell me, you moved down to Hollywood.
Yeah.
In my mom's speech. Hollywood.
Yeah.
When? How long ago?
In 2007.
Wow.
And I actually moved down to do the professional program in screenwriting at UCLA. So at first I was actually like kind of not really concerned about being an actor. I was kind of like, I just had a movie produced independently, and I was like, I'm going to pursue screenwriting.
Yeah.
And eventually I started doing sketches again, wrote a number of scripts and I've had some short films.
Were they comedies?
No, actually. You know what's funny is
like serious stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I love writing comedy, but what it ended up being was I would collaborate with directors who were interested in actually making the movie, because I'm like this whole write a spec script and sell it and blah blah. Yep. That was harder for me to navigate than like knowing a couple directors who were really ambitious, and things would typically get far when you have a director and you can
Hey.
What's up?
I'm sorry, I just got a comment from Raspberry. No way, I just saw him on the Fighter and the Kid podcast.
Nice.
Big love. Love. Yeah, Mark's an amazing dude. He's just kind of taking us a little through the story. I'm sorry, go ahead. You were saying.
Go ahead. So one script that I wrote, for example, was with this Australian director about the Cronulla Beach race riots of 2005, which is like a really.
Oh, wow.
I was always just interested in these. I've written stories about the siege of Sarajevo, I like delving in and researching stuff, but it also it would typically come from a director going, I have a seed of an idea. Can you help me develop this? Because I am good at going taking other people's ideas and fully fleshing them out with the skill set that I have. As a professional screenwriter. So eventually I got back into acting because I saw an ad maybe on Facebook or something, we're auditioning actors for this sketch collective. And some people make sketches you get together with your buddies and you're all just we all write, direct, act, and we're shooting them back in, the early 2010s or whatever. It would have been, maybe a little bit less common. Now it's super common for everybody's making sketches online, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Back in the day,
it was what was it then? Maybe College Humor might have been though.
Right. It was a lot more limited, but
go ahead.
There was this guy, Darren said he had set up this website called brevitytv.com, and you can still go to the YouTube channel and
I remember you were doing Brevity. Yeah. That's
so
right.
that was that kind of became my on-camera acting boot camp, was we were cranking out sketches every week, and I get to play different characters and scenarios and even formed my reel. It's you kind of look back and go or people will come to me I want to be an actor, and I'm like, my path is my path, but first of all, you got to show, can you act? Well, I had a reel from being able to now we would show up on Saturdays and Sundays and it would be a real set, there'd be a producer, a DP, a fucking PAs,
the Brevity TV.
Yeah, these were
I remember
legit.
how professional it was, and I was like, geez.
Yeah, because they would get people together that kind of
I remember that.
They had a writer's room, they had a director's stable, and they had actors, and I would have to audition for every part that I got.
Where was it done?
All in LA.
Yeah.
At various locations, but it was that was my experience being a professional actor on set. 'Cause even though we were doing it for free, it was it's structured. We wanted to mimic it. You have a call time, you're doing this, we're gonna get you in and out. And
groundlings.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So, and from there you have a reel. I got an agent, because then you have a little something. You have I can show you something. I can act. And then I got cast in the Hungover Games, which is a Jamie. It's funny because it sounds
Kennedy?
It was a Jamie Kennedy vehicle. It was a spoof of the Hunger Games and the Hangover, and it actually came out really well. It's like the Hangover guys are transported into they get all fucked up and do that montage, and then they wake up and they're like, oh shit, we're in the Hunger Games world. And it's all Hollywood cliches and stereotypes that they're battling. So I was the villain, which is gay Thor, and he's killing everybody with his hammer. And that's part of my niche is you need a funny guy who's large.
Right. Exactly.
There's not so many dudes who are 6'3" and buff who can do comedy.
That's
as you might imagine. Right. So that comes in handy sometimes.
That's awesome.
That was my first role, and one of the things that led up to, again, along the road, I also auditioned for really how I got a relationship with a casting director, or she discovered me. They were doing a reboot of In Living Color.
Oh shit!
And I was up for the token white guy,
the
Jim Carrey role, just because they were we need a white guy, And so at the time it was like 2012, and I was like had my Mitt Romney and Matt Damon and Mark Wahlberg and Russell Brand and fucking Eminem and Yellow Wolf and Mike Posner, like impressions. These are all impressions that I did, and plus my own characters, and sent it in. And she calls me like 5 minutes later, like, we need to get you in front of Keenan Ivory Wayans,
Oh my God.
Now, it's funny because I didn't get cast. I went through the whole process, sent in a bunch of reels, sent up stand-up, all this stuff.
After you were living in LA did this happen?
Several years after that.
To that point, yeah?
Yeah.
4 or 5 years?
But it's funny because it's all relationships that, like, I went to college with James Davis. I saw him at the 5-year reunion in 2010, and he's like, let's go do a sketch next week. I did one role in this sketch, and then he was like, oh, next week I'm shooting this parody for Waka Flocka called Brocka Flocka Flames. And like, that was the first time I got recognized, actually, because I was like a security guard, the Secret Service in the Brocka Flocka Flames video.
Really?
And, there's a few shots of me in the video, but it's not like anything huge. And like I remember somebody's like, you're the security guard in the, I'm like, how the fuck? But that's the scope of the
That's so funny.
The video.
I had you play a security guard in Double Tap.
Right. I guess I'm typecast, huh?
Damn it.
But this one I had short hair, I put the glasses on and the black suit, so it was the full Secret Service getup.
Wow.
But just that relationship, James was hired as a writer on In Living Color, and he was like,
that was the Obama thing.
Yeah.
Where Obama did like a Waka type song.
Exactly, yeah. I'm the head of the motherfucking state. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it's pretty, like, I think it holds up. It's a funny-ass video. There's a lot of little classic moments.
Yeah.
So James is hired as a writer on In Living Color, and, like, he's like, yo, they're casting me. Put together a reel as soon as you can. And so, like, shot it, like, on my Mac, just super janky, nothing professional. But like that's the cool thing. If you have talent, if you can do these characters, you're gonna stand out. And I was a little insecure about it. It's kind of funny. I was like, oh, this is gonna be as funny as every. And then I started I Googled like what other people were uploading, and I'm like, oh, I got this. Just because you would see. Yeah. I guess it's not fair to say like nobody's good, but I just saw some people uploading stuff, and I'm like,
I think I can take care of that.
Yeah, like, I think my Mitt Romney impression's feeling a little better after watching what people are uploading online.
A little confidence.
Yeah, I hate to, I don't mean to shit on anybody who uploaded an audition, but, but it did ultimately work. And was this one of those moments where you feel like your expectation is in line with people's response? Because I could have sent it out. I'm like, I have no fucking idea what a casting director looking for a specific sketch comedy show, but then she called immediately and was enthusiastic about it and was like, let's get you here, you got to send this and blah blah blah. And ultimately got to do like a network test in front of Keenan Ivory Wayans.
That's incredible.
With all these people who I was looking around, I'm going like, you should be cast. Like everybody, it was like I felt like the whole group of people that was there actually should have ended up being cast. Now, I don't think he casted a single person from that group.
Oh, wow.
And this is a point of contention for the casting director. She was like, he's casting it like it's 1992 and like looking for different criteria. Like, are you also like primarily a stand-up? And I wasn't at the time. I'd done stand-up, but like in 92, there wasn't really a sketch comedy scene. So I was watching all these people do like, who were like Groundlings this and UCB that, and we're like doing these insane impressions. And it's funny because I look back, I'm like, that girl who you didn't choose, like, Kate McKinnon apparently passed up on, went to SNL. Also, what's
the blonde girl?
Yes, there were 3 different girls that he passed up on who ended up at SNL. Noelle Wells was another one who I always remember just did this insane Kristen Stewart impression that was super funny, but did like multiple. It was just like boom, boom, boom. I'm like, oh my god, she's nailing all these different like white girls. And let's see, Kate McKinnon she passed up on. I'm gonna think of her name in a second. But she's she's a Latina and she's on SNL. And she's Melissa Villaseñor.
Oh yeah.
Incredible impressionist. Also was passed up on.
She started.
And
she did the. I found out about her from the Seinfeld show. The comedian in Cars.
Oh yes. Yeah, she's just insanely talented. And so there was just that and a few other people who were all passed up, but I guess it didn't end up. They shot episodes. Didn't end up. I guess the production was a mess or something. And they shot 2 episodes and they never saw the light of day. So I don't know which would have been like. I was devastated that I didn't get a cast because I'm like, yo, I'm perfect. I can do this, and this. You need a white utility player is what they refer to it as.
Play that, man. Come on.
Yeah. Put me in. I can do these little different things you'll need essentially.
Yeah, exactly.
But I guess it would have been, equally, if not more devastating if you're like, bro, this is it. Like, I'm about to go to series with the biggest thing, and then like nobody ever sees the episodes.
Right.
That would be
that's
rough.
what I was gonna ask. Did it ever come out?
It didn't.
Yeah.
But from
they
that,
tabled
the
it?
casting director just always kept in touch, Amber Bickham, and would submit me for stuff or tell me to, put together a reel for this or that.
Yeah.
And had, even as of recent, did you see those political cartoons that I was rapping over? I did like Rudy Giuliani and like a number of different voices
Can
for.
we play it here before you leave today?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
If you go to my Instagram page and scroll down, there's a couple different cartoons
we'll get it
that are
live, man.
deep down there. Yeah.
Because I don't think I watched those yet.
Yeah. And so another thing was just like it comes up that like, yes, I've been rapping since I was in high school. I can keep it in my back pocket, so if you need somebody who does impressions and can rap basically on rhythm,
Right.
I can do a few things, right? And but
That's
that
awesome.
relationship with Amber, just her keeping in touch and always thinking of me, led to the 50 Central thing, because she and also she was like pushing for me to be on In Living Color, right? Like she was an advocate for me, being
Right.
like, this is the guy you need. And she even, as of like last year when I went in to do that voiceover, she like told the story and was like, and Keenan fucked up by not casting him. I was like,
Yeah.
oh my God. But it is sort of validating because you're like,
Right.
yeah, it was devastating at the time to like think you're going to have this big career thing and then have it not happen, but
Man,
felt like you did good.
Know about that, yeah.
And not know like what could I have done better? I don't know, a million things, and you spin your wheels about it and never
Right.
know. But
Right.
to at least have somebody on your side. And then when it comes to
Definitely.
I get this call, and at the time I'm hustling, like doing overnight like food prep and then delivering in the morning and doing extra work. Like I recorded the audition reel for 50 Central like on no sleep, like in between like 3 different jobs. I was like, I have 2 hours, and I'm like, I'm using a selfie stick to like do like various different characters and dress up like Caitlyn Jenner. And the story of it was, I was like, what it coincided with was that Fire Festival story had just dropped,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So let's
right.
put that in a time and place in 2017 where that had just come out, and 50 Cent was like trolling Ja Rule about it. He was like,
Right.
made some meme about it. I remember I'm like,
I
because
remember
I
this.
always
He was
look for
going
a
on 'em,
format. Like when I make reels that are various character based, I'll make it like the newscaster's introducing this guy and he's on scene with the other character. Like I'll try to interconnect it just to have
Right.
increase the level of like watchability. So
Yeah.
you start watching it and you're like drawn to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing to make sure that like 3 minutes doesn't seem like an eternity.
Yeah.
So my format was, it's a bunch of celebrities like bitching at Ja Rule, like, you fucked up my, the thing that I wanted to do, or my kids wanted to go on. So you have like Mark Wahlberg and Brad Pitt and Caitlyn Jenner and different, characters like talking directly to Ja Rule. So I'm like, I know that 50 Cent will get if he sees this, he's gonna at least be like, that was a clever approach. Yeah.
Awesome.
And apparently it worked. Because again, another, token. I didn't get that white utility player,
got this one.
moment, but I got this one. And
That's so
yeah,
funny,
I mean, life changer, I guess, in the
what
sense
was that
that
moment like? And just to P Mula said, my man's is swole, absolutely. And just to catch anybody who just came in, this is Mark Harley, a good friend of mine, also an incredible writer, actor, script writer, comedy writer, basically jack of all trades. But he was just telling the moment in 2017 when he got signed on to do the 50 Central. It was 50 Cent sketch comedy show.
Yes.
And I'm wondering, like, was that the biggest thing?
Yeah, for sure. And I
remember
remember actually bracing myself because I got the call, but it wasn't like an official thing. It was like Amber was like, get ready to go to New York. Like,
wow.
But we can't send like, it was like, it's still in the works, but like,
That's
basically,
a dope moment.
Yeah. And I remember I was actually shooting, like I would do extra work and like, you'd make friends. Like I was like something at the beach that day where like you had to like pick a spot and like hang out. And I met this cool girl who's an aspiring actor, because you was like just meet other actors, right? And so like we were talking the whole day, and like I remember like I got to share it with her, and she was just a really cool person who like seemed genuinely happy for me. But then I kind of caught myself, and I'm like, don't fucking like go nuts and think this is even like a guaranteed thing, which you've had before. Like you've mentally played it up in your mind before.
That's in this and has been let down before. You learn to like put up those walls, right? So I get that.
And then even there was just a few things where like, so she the guy who manages Trevor Noah, like, is Amber's friend, and he like offered to negotiate my contract for me.
Wow.
Which is cool. But like another thing happened where, again, if I didn't have like, you know, Amber looking out for me, they came at me with an offer, and then you know, dude who's negotiating came back with a counter offer. Let's say it's like, we're gonna pay him $2,000, you know, a week, and he's like, how about $10,000 an episode, because there was more episodes than week.
Yeah.
And it's normal for them to be like, no, and we'll meet you in the middle here, there.
Yeah.
And so he puts that counter offer in, and then we just like didn't hear back for like 2 weeks or so, like something crazy long time. Yeah, and then Amber.
We shot too high, guys. We shot too high.
Yeah, you know, but that's just
no.
It's like he's the pro, obviously.
Totally know,
like I you know, but when you know that somebody's doing that and you're CC'd on the email, you're kind of like, what?
Fuck.
You know, like,
Yeah,
you sure? And he's like, no, I got this. But then apparently, I guess somebody along the like, you almost get the sense, and even according to Amber, it was like this, that like somebody might have not wanted me on the show, because again, Amber's a casting director, and advocating and going, I've worked with him before. He's been in sketches that I've produced. He's done these various jobs for me. He can deliver the goods. Yeah, it's a huge thing. And she has just seen what I'm capable of in other avenues. She was a believer that I was the right person for the role. Anyway, somebody asked her, they were like, oh, like, I guess Mark like turned down the offer, and she said, no, he didn't. And she's like, no, he did. And he's like, I know Mark. Like, wow. I'll put $1,000 right now that it didn't turn down an offer. And so she followed that track to be like, who told you that? And then I'm going to talk to that person, and like unwound like whatever the miscommunication was, twisted, or potentially a deliberate undercutting of like, if somebody comes back and was like, yeah, fuck him, we'll go to the next like dude who maybe another like maybe one of the producers want, whatever it is. Who knows? You'll never know.
Exactly.
But it was potentially this close to being like, we cast somebody else because your counteroffer was too high, which is super unprofessional and shouldn't happen. But that, like, you know, I was in limbo, like, again, after being like, don't think of it as a done deal in your mind. It actually did almost slip away. But moving forward, once we got the deal done, then I get to fly out to New York.
Yeah.
They're putting us up for like, 3 months in a hotel to shoot every day, and I'm meeting these other amazing cast members. Vince Swan, Tristan Winger, Jasmine Brown, Kia Roberts.
Who were you closest with on the cast?
Probably ended up being the closest with Kia, although I say I have a good relationship with all of them.
Yeah.
I think Kia and I were just a little bit similar in age. And not that like I'm super, but
no, yeah.
They're all amazing. Kia Roberts, and she's just an amazing actress in her own right.
Oh, yeah.
Now I've also, but like every one of we have a lifelong bond. Every person in the cast,
Yeah.
Vince, incredibly talented. He's on Miss Pat's new show on Hulu. And he's just got and he's also somebody who he's super quiet and humble in a lot of ways, but he's just such a hardworking, talented guy. He's actually, he does music as well, like him and his brother, Vince Swan.
Vince Swan, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's Swan or 2 N's or 2 A's.
2 N's.
Yeah. And then Tristan, so Vince also an impressionist. He does great character work. He's super talented as a director, and makes music with his brother. Just a super talented multi-hyphenate guy.
Yeah.
Who sky's the limit for him.
That's
Tristan Winger, a lot of people know from. He started off. He's a friend of Issa Rae, and was on the show Awkward Diaries of an Awkward Black Girl, whatever her YouTube series
was. He was on Insecure too.
Yeah, and he's and two totally different. He plays this baby voice character. He's always he's speaking super low.
I remember him.
Yeah, and then but on the show Insecure, he plays the character's called Thug Yoda, but it's the guy who's the blood,
Yeah.
Heading down to Bompton, or whatever. He just it's
That's dope.
But he's super funny because he's an incredible subtle actor. You would never know these little characters he plays. Oh, and he's on this show Bigger on BET now, series. Just a really good classically trained actor.
Yeah, that's dope. Wait, and real quick, my man Ob said, "Dude's yoked. Looks like he could win a fight against air." Okay.
I don't know what that means, but
I think it's a compliment.
Okay. So, and then the final cast member that I didn't mention is Jasmine Brown, who's just an absolute force of nature. And if people ask me to see my favorite sketch on 50 Central, I'll say, check out, if you Google like 50 Cent steals another man's woman, it's me dressed as a woman and Jasmine, who's an incredibly beautiful woman.
Should we
in
check
her own
this
right.
one out?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
It's me dressed as a woman, her dressed as a man, and we're with 50 in the bar, and it's just like, you know, I just love our dynamic in that. And she, in particular, like, so she's got a huge following online. She does stand up. She does stand up as different characters.
Yeah.
She's just, I've helped her with a number of auditions before that where I'm just like, fuck, man, like, I don't know if you get this or not, but like, you would just crush this shit, you know?
Yeah.
And
Did you find it? Oh, amazing.
Nice.
Steals another man's lady, is this it?
Yeah, there we go.
Girl, you got them shoulders like Serena. The sheet taken?
Oh my
Seats
God.
open, handsome.
Damn.
Thanks, Markeisha.
Thanks.
You got a real interesting look.
Thank you. I actually take after my father.
Like your father.
Yep.
I can see that.
Look, before you get any bright ideas, I am taken and my boyfriend's nearby.
I'm just trying to get a drink.
Sure you are. That's what they all say.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. What's going on up in here, woman?
Oh, nothing at all. This is actually my new friend. Sorry, I didn't get your name. What was that?
Curtis,
Oh, what's going on up in here, Curtis?
I'm just trying to get a drink.
Oh, I'm just trying to get a drink. It looked like you're trying to get a sip off of another man's drink.
He was.
And if you thinking about getting a taste of my tall glass of red wine right here, you got another thing coming. Tia and Tamara. The stars are Fista.
Oh my God.
Man, I wasn't trying nothing.
I will fight to defend my queen. Tell her, Markeisha.
It's totally true, he will. And at first I was kind of offended by that because I am an independent woman and it's not like I'm some piece of property that he just owns or whatever. But then when he started acting out like this, like literally every time we left the house or the UPS man delivered something to our door, I have to admit, it kind of started turning me on. I can't help it.
Last man who tried to press up on my Markeisha left out of here on crutches. He walked in on crutches too, but he needed them way more on the way out.
You beat up a handicapped dude?
I'm a D-O-G dog. Ooh, ooh. If you cross a dog, you're gonna get bit.
Oh my God, relax, baby. I mean, can you even blame him for wanting to have his way with all this?
What?
Look, I know it must be difficult for you to be emasculated by a man with such raw sexual energy, but look, you'll find someone else, someone who's less hot and feminine, but someone else regardless. It really is a shame though, because you're sort of my type.
Type.
Bartender, whatever drink is closest, I want it. I want it now.
Don't worry, baby. I'm all yours. Every single hole.
Hey, man, listen. I see things clearly now. See, my baby, she'll never be attracted to somebody like you.
The
Just because you own another boat doesn't mean you know how to ride these white ways.
Certainly
baby,
doesn't.
tell her. I be in there like a jet ski.
Kinda
She
turning
like
me on.
to them ways.
Oh my God, I'm like getting super
Until we
horny.
both climax. You like when I
Super
go
hot.
double and I
Oh my God.
3 times.
Oh my God, you're turning me
Holla
on.
at me if you ever need some tips on how to please a woman.
Yeah.
I got the juice.
He's a great teacher, trust me.
Can I get a double, please?
Bro, I never
I'm horny,
saw
let's
that.
go.
Yeah. Woohoo!
Make it a triple.
Make it a triple. That's good.
That was a fun one. And like, you know,
That's a good one. Jesus, who dressed you?
a whole team of people.
Yeah, I imagine.
It is sort of fun because, like, again, I would probably do more stuff like that if it didn't require, like, the whole thing is
Yeah, how long
like
does that
hair,
take?
nails, whatever. I mean, it took a while. I'm just saying, like, to do a female character, and I like doing that sort of, like, that is a California, like, Valley girl stereotype. Like, oh my
Yeah.
God, and she's super creepy.
Right,
you know,
right,
like,
right,
obviously
right.
you've heard a million girls like
Yeah.
that, you
Right,
know.
right.
A certain demographic comes to
Very
mind.
common.
Right, but to do the whole getup, it's like I'm not going to do my nails and my hair and the makeup and the dress and even just getting into the dress
Oh,
and
I
do the
know.
heels. You know, it's a whole thing. I probably should get better at it because it's a fun character to do. And Markeisha can always have a hot take on
Markeisha.
anything. You're stupid
I
and you're a
love that.
bitch, and I
Yeah.
don't fucking like you, and you're dumb. And
I
I'm
know
not saying that
that.
from a negative place. I'm just saying that's like the truth, and that's what people are saying about you.
They rattle off
Nicky,
like
his
that.
music just isn't like, it's like for like if you're like maybe dumb or something, then it'd be good. Like if you like bad music, and that's fine. Like if you're
Yeah, you
into
clip
bad
that.
music, like that could be your thing. I'm just saying, like, personally for me, it hurts my ears when I play it. But no, I'm not saying that like to like disparage your craft. It's just like
She drops one big word.
yeah. To like
I I clipped that. That's
Yeah.
gonna be my intro for next time. It's like, if you're dumb.
If you're like dumb, maybe like, so if you like, you know, like your eardrums to take a beating, you know.